Aliens have entered the solar system, but instead of establishing first contact, they beeline for the sun and begin to set up the construction of a Dyson sphere, ignoring any attempts at making contact. The human civilization ended in 5 flashes, 5 pulses of immense energy that hit Earth, Venus, Mars, Titan, and Callisto, evaporating their seas and cracking them open. The cradle of humanity and her 4 daughters ceased to exist in the blink of an eye. What was left was research and mining colonies on the moons of the gas giants and nomads living in the asteroid belts, now all orphans having watched the only habitable planets in the solar system reduced to rubble. 3 days after the flashes, 2 enormous ships entered the system. They were both twice the size of Earth and could move near light speed. One approached Mercury and started to break it apart. The other positioned itself on top of Jupiter and started to siphon its atmosphere. The survivors threw what little weaponry they had left at the invaders, to no avail. Warships were swatted away like flies, and redirected asteroids were simply absorbed like the planets they were harvesting. What was left of humanity tried to contact the ships, fruitlessly begging for an explanation for why humanity was facing extinction, why their home was being torn apart and collected. They never received an answer, never a word of threat, of apology, or any attempts to rationalize their actions. Humanity does not know the name of the beings that broke its cradle, nor does it know what they look like. They could be biological, machines, or something far beyond man's imagination. It was unknowable. What they knew was silence. Deafening silence as the ships cannibalized the remains of the solar system. The invaders left the outposts alone until it was their time to be harvested. Everything that could be salvaged, and everyone that could be saved, were put into any spacefaring vessel that could take them. The invaders let them leave, paid them no mind as they formed haphazard flotillas of civilian vessels, mining ships, and decommissioned warships, all scrambling to reach the terrifying emptiness of the void beyond the broken solar system. The takers, as humanity called their evictors, had started to build a structure around the sun. They had stamped out the anthills, and to chase down the ants escaping their destroyed homes was simply not worth the effort. Some flotillas set course for nearby solar systems, trying to reach the settlements seeded by humanity's adventure amongst the stars. It would take 4 years for a message to reach Proxima Centauri, the nearest star, and 4 decades for the ships to reach it. Others decided to simply try their luck in the void, fearing that what had happened in Sol had happened elsewhere. So they put their faith in their machines, and that they had enough resources to make themselves self-sufficient. For the journey they embarked upon would never end. They were to become perpetual nomads, floating unseen in the emptiness between the stars. They watched as Sol became dimmer. The takers' enigmatic contraption encased it more and more as they left it behind. Other stars started to dim, too, further hardening the nomads' resolve to stay in the void. The takers had not only taken their home, but every other place that they could ever hope to call a home. They resigned to the idea that they would never see a sun ever again, to never feel the wind upon their faces, to never feel snow or sand beneath their feet, to never see the sunset reflected in an ocean stretching past the horizon. Yet they kept going, partly out of spite for the beings that had annihilated their home, who had taken everything they had. Most importantly, they kept going out of hope. Even in the face of complete oblivion, the human spirit endured. Men and women worked tirelessly to keep their moving home afloat, feeding off scraps that their adversaries let float into nothingness. They were fueled by a burning hope of a paradise that not even their grandchildren could imagine stepping foot upon. A marvelous dream of a world, surpassing Earth in its beauty. Eons passed as this world shone like a beacon ahead of them, parting the void with its brilliance. Eden, as they called it, had 1,000,000 different visages, each unique to everyone who dreamt of it. They would find it, and it would far surpass their wildest imaginations. It would no longer be the cramped quarters that they grew up in. It would not smell like rust and dust. It would not feel like steel and look like something that had kept going way beyond its expiration date. It would not be like the old degraded pictures of Earth and its daughters. It would be something entirely new, and it would have a sun, maybe even several suns. They would shine with a pleasant heat that the fluorescent lights of the flotilla could never match. Eden was out there somewhere, and it would be the one jewel that the takers haven't snatched.